Alerting and unauthorised information. Bridge is a game of full disclosure. You must give your opponents the right explanation of what you are doing, whether that is in the bidding or in your defensive methods. The purpose of alerting is to make your opponents aware that the call your partner has just made either does not mean what it says, or has a more specific or varied meaning, and that they may want to ask about it. Alerting correctly during the auction gives your opponents the opportunity to make a call of their own to convey information to their partner, and also help them make the best decision for playing the cards, be they defender or declarer. Many people play a very natural system, whereas others have a larger range of conventional and or relay bids in their system. People who play less natural systems are not doing it to confuse their opponents. They are doing it because they believe it gets them to the best contract available. As long as the bids are alerted and explained correctly, there should be no problems and you should not be intimidated by it. So, what needs to be alerted and when? Before the start of each round, you should pre-alert. This is usually just saying something like weak no trump, 4-card majors, reverse attitude and count, and anything unusual they should be aware of. Examples might be transfer openers or leading doubletons low high. A multi 2 diamond does not need to be pre-alerted. If you are playing precision, it is good to pre-alert, especially against less experienced players, so they can have a quick discussion on how they are bidding against it. However, very few people pre-alert in club sessions, although it is more common in tournaments, especially in Swiss pairs and teams. During play, you must alert any bid made by your partner that is not natural or could have a meaning that your opposition might not reasonably be expected to understand. We'll look at that in detail on the next pages. At the end of the auction, if you are the declaring side, you must post-alert any bids that haven't been alerted because either they didn't need to be, see next page, or your partner has forgotten to alert. This is a good time to remind you also that all opening bids of one club and one no trump need to have their meaning announced, so never need to be alerted during play. So what is a natural bid? A natural bid is basically one that means what it says. For example, 1 heart means 7 tricks and hearts, 3 no trumps means 9 tricks and no trumps. A minor suit is deemed to be natural if you hold at least 3 of them, and a major suit is natural if you have at least 4 of them. So, if you make a bid of a minor suit, as long as that means that in your hand you have at least 3 of them, it is natural. For a major, the number is 4. For no trumps, it means a desire to play in no trumps. If you make a bid that does not promise the above, it is not natural, and therefore defined as conventional, and needs to be alerted. Some obvious examples are the 2 diamond opener, which is a multi 2, or a transfer or rangefinder response to a no trump opener. However, just to muddy the waters a wee bit, New Zealand Bridge has determined that there are bids that are in such common usage they do not need alerting. 2 clubs as a statement response to 1 no trump. 2 club opener, that is game force and rule of 29 compliant, and the 2 diamond negative response. Also, bids at the 4 level or above, apart from conventional opening bids at this level, do not need to be alerted, but should be post-alerted. All Q bids, doubles and redoubles are self-alerting. So if these bids are made, they do not need to be alerted because they have already been alerted just by being made. So if a bid is conventional, alert it unless it is a Q bid, double or redouble. A Q bid is a bid you make of a suit that has already been bid by the opposition. Common Q bids are Michael's Q bids, where the opposition might open 1 diamond and you bid 2 diamonds to show 5 spades and 5 of another suit. This is fairly obvious, but you also need to remember that bidding a suit that the opposition has shown in another way is also a cubid. One no trump from north, pass from east, two hearts from south, and two spades from west. Here the two hearts was a transfer to spades and was correctly alerted. West has bid two spades as a takeout of spades. Double will only show hearts. The two spades is defined as a cubid and is not alerted. One diamond by north, two diamonds by east, two spades by south. Here, the two diamonds by east was not alerted, as it is a cubid, and in this case means spades and hearts. South has bid two spades, asking for a spade hold. As east's two diamond bid showed spades, the two spades is a cubid and is not alerted. One no trump by north, two no trumps by east, three clubs by south. Here, east two no trump is a cubid and is not alerted. It shows a weak hand with at least a 5-card minor and forces west to bid three clubs, which will be passed or corrected to diamonds. South bids three clubs, which by agreement is stamen. It does not need to be alerted because it is a cubid. One no trump by north, two hearts by east, two no trumps by south, three clubs by west. Here, east's overcall of two hearts means hearts and spades and is correctly alerted. South's two no trumps Lebensol, also alerted, forcing north to bid three clubs, which will be passed or corrected to diamonds. West's three clubs says, you choose the major partner. It does not need to be alerted because it is a cubid. One diamond by north, one no trump by east, a pass from south, and two diamonds by west. After the overcall of one no trump, east-west are playing systems on, so two diamonds is a transfer to hearts. As north has already bid one diamond, it does not need to be alerted. But if it had been an opening bid of one no trump, it would have been. This is a bizarre anomaly in the regulations, which it seems beyond the ability of New Zealand Bridge to change. Basically, if a bid shows a shortage in that suit or length in another suit, suit additional to or different than the one bid, has more than one option, or is forcing or non-forcing in a way the opposition may not expect, it needs to be alerted unless it is self-alerting or one of the exceptions mentioned at the beginning. Natural bids also need to be alerted sometimes. This is when they are forcing or not forcing in a way your opponents may not expect. Pass from north, east and south, and then west opens with a diamond. Pass from north, one heart from east, and all pass. In this example, east was a passed hand, and west opened in seat 4 with their scruffy 12 count, planning to pass whatever partner said. This is fine and does not need to be alerted, and I'm sure you have all seen and or done this many times. North pass, one diamond from east, double from south, one heart from west. However, on this occasion, east-west have an agreement that over the double the bid is natural, but non-forcing, showing 0 to 9 points. In that case, the one heart must be alerted. One diamond from north, pass from east, two diamonds from south. In this example, north-south are playing inverted minors, so the two diamonds promises 4 diamonds and 10 plus points and is forcing, so it needs to be alerted. Similarly, if south had bid 3 diamonds and it showed 6 to 9 points and is not forcing, it would also need to be alerted. One diamond from north, a pass from east, and 2 spades from south. In this example, north-south are playing that 2 spades is drop dead. It is a change of suit that is not forcing, so it needs to be alerted. The above is the most common bid I see not alerted when it should be. The confusion arises because, in the sequence, one diamond from north and 2 spades from east, where the 2 spades is non-forcing because it is weak, the 2 spades does not need to be alerted. The difference is that the 2 spades is an overcall in this example, whereas in the above, it is a response to an opening bid. One diamond by north, 1 spade by east, 2 diamonds by south, 3 spades by west. a lot of people play the above sequence where the 3 spades shows 4 card support for the spade overcall and not forcing, usually in the 5 to 9 point range. The 3 spades would need to be alerted. The regulations say a double raise of a partner's suit which could contain less than 8 points must be alerted. A lot of players and directors seem unaware of this and will argue the point. I can assure you they are wrong. 1 heart by north, pass from east, and 3 hearts by south. Similarly, like the inverted minor example, if you are playing that a jump like this is weak, then it must be alerted. It doesn't matter if the response is to an overcall or opening bid. Going back to post alerts, these are bids that don't need to be alerted, but as declaring side, you are obliged to at least advise your opposition they have some meaning. This is done at the conclusion of the auction simply by placing a small X in the corner of the box of each bid. You can see this bidding sequence here by north-south, which has gone 1 heart, 1 spade, 3 hearts. Then 4 diamonds, 4 spades, 4 no trumps, 5 diamonds, 5 spades, 6 clubs, 6 diamonds, 6 hearts. 1 heart, 1 spade, 3 hearts are all natural and are not alerted. However, all other bids have a different meaning, but because they are at the 4 or above level, do not need to be alerted during the auction. At the end of the auction, the declarer should put a small X in the corner of each of the bids from 4 diamonds onwards and, if requested, explain what they all mean. Either member of the declaring side can give this explanation. If the opposition alerts or makes a bid that is self-alerting, you are entitled to a full explanation of the meaning of the bid by the person who alerted when it is your turn to bid. A full explanation means just that, not simply naming a convention. It should include information about suit holdings and point counts. If you are not given a full explanation, call the director. If a full explanation can't be given, usually because they have forgotten some of the details of it, the director will take them away from the table and the person who made the bid will give the explanation. Similarly, if you alert a bid, give a proper and full explanation. You can also ask about bids that are not alerted, or even bids that were not made to find out more information. For example, there is an overcall at the 2 level by a passed hand. You might want to ask about their 2 level openers, as that might give you useful information about the suit holding. However, you should only ever ask questions on your turn to bid or when the opening lead has been made face down. You should not ask questions about unalerted bids unless you have a good reason to do so. An example of this could be when opposition opens 1 heart and then rebids 2 hearts. You might want to know if the rebid promises 5 or 6 hearts, as that will help you with your defense. The most likely reasons you want to know about a bid is to decide how high to compete, when to make a lead directing double, or what to lead yourself. Here's a couple of examples. We have 1 heart from north, pass, then 1 spades from south, then a pass, and then a 3 clubs by north, which is alerted. You are east, and the 3 clubs has been alerted, and you ask what it means. You are told it is an agreement in spades with 1 or 2 losers in clubs, and an interest in game. West is therefore going to be on lead, and you hold the ace of clubs. Knowing that 3 clubs is not to play, and wishing to advise your partner that leading a club would be a good idea, you can double the 3 club bid. There's 1 no trump from north, a pass, and then 2 hearts from south, and you're west. The 1 no trump has been announced as 12 to 14, and the 2 hearts has been alerted and explained as a transfer to spades. You have 6 hearts and 11 points. You could double the 2 hearts to tell your partner you are willing to compete to at least the 3 heart level. Or you might have 1 spade and 4-4-4 in the other suits, so you could bid 2 spades as a takeout, telling partner to bid one of the other 3 suits. As I've said, everyone at the table is entitled to a full explanation of the meaning of any calls. Where players get upset is when they get an explanation about a bid and it is seemingly incorrect. The rules on this are actually quite straightforward. As long as the explanation is correct, that is, the system is what they say it is, there is no misinformation. Sometimes, as a result of this, the opposition get lucky and get a good result because of this. Unfortunately, this is bad luck. However, it is worth noting that if your partner alerts your bid, gives the right explanation, and you realise you don't have that hand, you mustn't make any correction or act in any way that conveys this to your partner. If the explanation is incorrect, and as a result of this you don't make a call or defend it in a way you wouldn't have if you had the right information, then, if this has damaged you, you will be entitled to have the score adjusted. You must call the director and explain what would have happened if you did have the right information, and the director may ask more questions and assess any damage from there. Sometimes they may rule you are not damaged. If your partner made an incorrect explanation of a bid and your side becomes the clearer, you must correct it at the end of the auction before the opening lead is faced. Call the director before you do this, as they will assess the options available, which may include allowing the last person who passed to change their call. If your side becomes defenders, you must not correct it until the hand is completed, and the director will assess any damage and adjust the score if they see fit. We've been talking about full disclosure of information, so I'll just briefly talk about one of the most contentious issues around unauthorized information, or UI. I have heard lots of players, experienced and otherwise, tell their partner or opposition, I/you can't bid after you/your partner hesitated. This is absolutely, totally, 100% wrong. There is a requirement to bid and play in tempo. However, sometimes you do need to think a bit longer, and this can cause what people deem to be a hesitation. The rule is simple. If your partner hesitates, you must make the same bid you would have made had they bid in tempo. The fact they have hesitated has given you some unauthorized information. There is no rule against you having unauthorized information, but there are rules about using unauthorized information. For example, as we saw earlier, knowing that your partner has a certain card because it was let face up out of turn. Here's an auction and a vulnerability is even. We've got 1 heart by north, a spade by east, 4 hearts by south, 4 spades by west. Pass, pass, 5 hearts, pass, pass, pass. South has raised to 4 hearts without any pause, and West has done the same, raising partners overcall to 4 spades. North now has a longer than usual think before passing. East politely says, hesitation noted, to which there is no disagreement, and South bids 5 hearts. It is passed out there, and a now affronted East calls the director. At this stage there is no action the director can take, and they will advise the hand to be played out and tell East-West to call them back if they feel they have been damaged. The 5 hearts is made, whereas 4 spade goes 2 off, so even doubled, that would be a better result for East-West. So they claim damage. Here are the hands. The question the director has to ask is, had North's bid been in tempo, would South have bid 5 hearts? Yes, South has some unauthorized information that North perhaps has a hand that is marginal, and they are thinking of bidding 5 hearts themselves. Has South acted on this? Is there a logical alternative, or LA, to bidding 5 hearts? What's a logical alternative? A logical alternative is a call or action that would have been seriously considered by at least 25% of that player's peers, and subsequently some would have acted on. The director is under no duress to make this decision immediately, and may ask other players what they would have done at the end of the session, by showing them the South hand, the auction, and not mentioning the hesitation. If the result of that is a pretty clear preference for bidding 5 hearts, then that is proof that it is a legitimate bid and South has not illegally used the unauthorised information. In this example, with the vulnerability as it is, I would almost certainly rule that 5 hearts is legitimate even without polling and let the result stand. I would, however, advise North-South of the dangers of hesitating and the East-West have the right to appeal. Word of advice, if you are going to appeal a director's ruling in a tournament, speak to the appeals advisor first, as an appeal judged to be without merit might get you penalised. Let's change the hand a little bit, but keep the same auction up to the 5 hearts. This time, instead of bidding 5 hearts, South decides to double the 4 spades, and the defence rattles off the first 7 tricks as the hearts split nicely 1-1 to give East-West a dead bottom board. East-West claims that the hesitation from North gave South unauthorised information, that their hand had some additional values but couldn't double 4 spades and were unsure of the merits of 5 hearts. South, they say, only doubled because of this, thereby illegally acting on the unauthorised information. On this occasion, as a director, I would be inclined to agree with East. South has only 2 certain tricks in defending spades, and to me, both 5 hearts and pass are logical alternatives to doubling. I nearly always poll in tournaments, so would on this occasion, and would be surprised if the result was any different. So, assuming the poll has confirmed my belief, I would adjust the result to 4 spades undoubled and advise South of the dangers of acting on unauthorised information. That's it for this video. There was a lot of information covered, but hopefully you now have a grasp of the rules and regulations around alerting and the concepts of unauthorised information and logical alternatives. Basically, if in doubt, alert. As long as it is not a self-alerting bid, you are very unlikely to have anyone grumble at you. And if you come into possession of unauthorised information, be very careful that you don't act on it, or do something that means you are perceived to have acted on it. If in doubt about taking an action, and whether or not it is a logical alternative, ask the director if you can move away from the table and ask them what they think before you do it.